double toil and trouble. Some topics discussed may make people uncomfortable. For fair is foul and foul is fair. On this podcast, we will definitely swear. A lot. Now round the cauldron go, trigger warnings listed in the notes below. Thrice and once the hedge pig whined, the cocktails cry, it's time, it's time.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Maiden, mother, crone. Plot twist, we're all the crone. The stories aren't all made up and the points don't matter.
Welcome listeners to the Wyrd Sisters, a podcast about the blurst and bizarre and all the things you were happier not knowing about.
Okie dokie. Hello, team.
Hello.
What's up?
What's going on? You're not fucking Lacey.
The fuck are you?
Hello.
Hi, I'm Lauren.
As you may hear, dear listeners, we don't have Lacey here this week. This is a special episode. We've had to go sans Lacey possibly for 2 or 3 weeks. Just because she's had surgery on her spine because she's metal as fuck.
Yeah.
She's going to post pictures of her spine because some of it got taken out.
It's gonna be so good, dude. First, I have my surgery, no goo, but to make up for it, Lacey has some gnarly fucking photos. It's really good.
It looks like messed up chewing gum.
It really does.
It's really gross. But yeah, so you guys are gonna love it. It's beautiful. But thoughts and prayers for Lacey, and welcome, La. Thank you so much for stepping in for a couple
Thank
of
you.
weeks.
No worries, I have just as many stories, almost as many freckles, maybe even more. Who knows?
I would say that you do have more freckles,
Oh, okay.
definitely. For those of you who are new, I am Laura. I don't have a gross thing in my mind. I'm going to be Lacey's gross chewing gum spine.
Delicious. I am Tay, and I am a hollowed out skull used as a soup bowl.
Yum.
And I'm Lauren. I am a slimy cave witch.
You'll
I
fit
like
right
that
in,
one.
yay!
Perfect. Bog witches are the shit. Do we have a theme this week? We do have a theme this week. Our theme is...
Collections.
yeah, we looked at creepy collections. I don't remember why we ended up picking this, but we did. I think someone wanted to do something.
I think that might have been
Probably
me.
you. Yeah.
'Cause mine is exceptionally gross, and I'm very excited.
I mean, I know what it is,
Yes.
but I don't know the details.
Yeah,
Good
neither do
ones.
I.
I'm very excited for yours. I'm first, because I did a historical one.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Hell
it's
yeah.
not that far back though. Like, it's pretty recent. I did the Collier brothers.
Oh.
So I've never heard of these guys.
Neither. I
Neither.
hadn't. Lacey recommended them, naturally, because it's Lacey and she knows this weird shit, and I feel sad that she's not here to listen
Oh, God.
to us. She's in spirit. But yeah, these are like Holmer Lusk Collier, who was born on the 6th of November, 1881, and Langley Wakeman Collier. I'm hoping I say Collier correctly, but he was the younger brother, and he was the 3rd of October, 1885. He
Libra.
baby. Yeah. Oh, of course you would know that. Oh, fucking Jesus. Okay. I don't want to alienate half of our listener base who also believe in star signs, so I'll just keep my mouth shut.
It's fine.
It's fine. So they were born to Herman Livingston Collier and Susie Gage Frost Collier in New York. So, yeah, Herman was a gynecologist, and then Susie was a former opera singer and also Herman's first cousin.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
What a just sentence.
It's weird as well because it's like New York, and it's only, the very end of the century. I keep going like last century. It's not technically. We're in a new century now, but I always think we're in the 1900s. I'm still in the 90s in my head, even though I was only like 7. But yeah, they were like old money. Susie was allegedly descended from the Livingstons, which is like a super prominent family in New York. They're like governors and mayors and congressmen and shit. And they had roots back to the 18th century.
Wow.
They were old school. So they were well respected, and they lived in a Harlem brownstone at 2078 Fifth Avenue, or 2078. When the family moved in 1909, Harlem was an upper-class neighborhood with many wealthy residents. The family was living in a literal mansion. Like, this place was fucking huge. I kept thinking, like, oh, they've got an apartment in this building. No, the whole building is their fucking house. Like,
Old fucking money.
yeah, it looks massive. And it's not like... When I think of a mansion, I think of, like, oh god, I can't even think of the word now. Columns and, like,
Yes.
a porch
yeah.
and all that shit. This just looks like a massive fucking apartment building. But yeah, so it was, like, a nice place. It was 140 meters squared. So,
Oh my god.
which is like 1,500 feet squared for the American listeners. The family was really wealthy, obviously, and they sent the boys to Columbia University. Herman and Susie had another child, a daughter called Susan. Apparently she's just called Susan. Everyone else has a fucking, like, 4 names, but Susan. But she died at 4 months of age. She was their older sister.
Damn.
Did not make it. Yeah. So they were a weird family. Like, Father Herman was a little bit wild. He commuted to his job at the city hospital on Blackwell's Island by canoe.
Canoe. The canoeing gyno.
I know. It's only about an hour's bike ride, and they do live very close to the water, so I was like, oh, I could do that. Like, I'm sure there's someone who would do that shit now.
Oh yeah,
Can you think
definitely.
about the Yarra River
Oh, yeah.
in Melbourne where we live? Like, how many people canoe down that shit?
Yeah.
Oh god,
He'd
yeah.
be so buff.
Yeah, yes. Daddy Herman was a snack. I didn't think about that.
Daddy
Oh my God.
Herman.
So yeah, it's not super far, but he would carry the canoe home through the street when he was done. But he had money, so he was not weird. He was eccentric.
Oh, right.
Naturally.
Yes.
Yes. Apparently nothing else weird about them happened at this point. Homer got 3 law degrees. One of them is Admiralty Law. I had to look it up.
What does that mean?
Please, thank you, because I don't know.
He was a sea lawyer.
Oh, yes.
A maritime law, or nautical law, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't know why. He didn't join the Navy. Like, as far as I can see, there was nothing about that. So maybe he did, but I didn't fucking see it. But he practiced maritime law, and was very successful.
Mermaid lawyer.
Arrested a lot of pirates in this time.
Yeah. Whereas Langley studied engineering and chemistry. Yeah, so that was Homer, who became the nautical lawyer. Homer didn't actually also became a really accomplished concert pianist. He played at Carnegie Hall, which is big good, I have written in my notes. Really
Big good.
Good dude.
Yeah, exactly. And he played professionally. I think later in his life he like taught or something. I remember reading it. I don't think I wrote it down because I'm good at this. And then he was also a layman for the Trinity Church, which their family had gone to since 1697.
Wow.
Do you guys know what a layman is for a church?
No.
I feel like I should.
Yeah, I know,
But-
right? Like, is your family Irish Catholic or something like that?
Yeah. It's like I pay attention to what they're saying to me. Come on.
Well, I tried to wiki it. It was a really fucking big article that was like secular priests and all sorts of shit, and I was like, oh, nah. So, we
So
don't know
many
what that is.
names
That's
for
fine.
things in the church. You can just assume that it's something.
It's important.
I was hoping that someone would know, but that's fine. It's fine. We don't know anything. We all know that.
Put too much faith in us.
So from here, I've kind of done like a timeline broken up into years because a lot of fucking shit happens. So 1919, Herman and Susie separated, or Herman straight up abandons his family. Don't know why. Doesn't say.
Wow.
Couldn't find, or at least the first 3 pages of Google didn't fucking tell me. So
He went to the dark web.
yeah. Didn't look at the first 3 links. I went lower. And then Herman moved out to 153 West Street. 153 West 77th Street.
Car.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's fucking confusing. I looked at it on Google Maps. It's like a really small park with a basketball court now.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah.
Right? I was dumb enough to fucking think that I could go back to Street View in 1919. I was like, just... And then I was like, So I'm fucking dumb, as we reiterate every fucking time we do this podcast. But yeah, Homer and Langley. Homer's like 38. So they're not babies when this divorce happened. They were men. No double Christmases. They stay with their mum, Susie, at the Brownstone, 2007 8th Street. Or 2007 8 5th Avenue, whatever. They never married, or they never lived on their own either. So, yeah, they just never had really left this house except for college, I'm assuming. Or even then, the university wasn't very far away, so maybe they stayed at home. Who fucking knows? Anyway. 1923, Herman dies, and he leaves everything to his kids, including all his medical junk and 15,000 textbooks.
15,000.
Yeah.
1,000, not 100.
No, 1,000. 15,000 medical
Fuck.
textbooks. This place was so fucking big. This is the thing, is like, I have a lot of books. I'm not allowed to buy any more books because there's nowhere to fucking put them in my house. My apartment is very small. But This dude's books would literally fill my entire apartment, every single fucking room. Like, so many books.
What a ceiling is what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Oh my
Pack 'em
god.
in there.
Yeah, but their house was so massive that it was, like, fine, apparently.
That's fine.
Because this is well before the real collection began, so...
The real
The
collection.
real collection. Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
At this stage, everyone in the family was apparently pretty okay. Nothing weird was going on. But, yeah, Herman died and left all his medical junk behind. He's a gynecologist, so I'm, like, imagining plastic vaginas
Yeah.
and shit.
And like separators.
Yeah! Speculums and
Yeah.
fucking shit. Ooh.
Haha. Continue.
And they just moved all his shit into the brownstone, the big old house in Harlem. Susie died in 1929, a few years later. She leaves the house and all her possessions to her sons, and the boys are now alone. So for 4 years, the brothers socialise and regularly leave the house. They both attend their jobs as per usual, and both teach Sunday school at the Trinity Church.
That's
So
nice.
they're very wholesome. Yeah, exactly. Like, they're not creepy, angry old people hiding in a house. They are just normal dudes that just happen to live together as brothers and don't have any wives or anything like that.
The dream.
The dream. So that 4 years, at the end of it, 1933, Homer loses his eyesight from hemorrhages at the back of his eyes.
Hemorrhages.
Yeah, apparently he had a stroke.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fuck. Jesus.
So, yeah, apparently that fucked up his vision, which is very sad. And Langley quits his job as a sea lawyer to take care of his brother. So, slowly, very slowly, they begin to withdraw from society. Langley is convinced he can heal his brother's eyesight without outside help. He pores over the 15,000 medical textbooks and devises a rest cure for Homer. It's a diet of 100 oranges a week, black bread, peanut butter, and he rests his eyes constantly by keeping them closed.
Oh, it just reeks of snake oil. It's so funny.
I know.
Oh god.
I know.
Wait, how many oranges again? Just again?
100.
100
oranges a week.
A week.
Yes.
So, oh my god, so
That's-
many.
I don't even like citrus, like, very much. I would get very annoyed.
Oh, what if just like, because there's, what's that thing where you eat too many of like orange foods and you turn yellow?
Oh.
Oh, fuck.
That's
Well,
what's
you
the
turn
opposite of
ye-
scurvy?
Yeah, I would keep going, like, jaundice, scurvy.
It is
Oh,
jaundice.
Is it jaundice?
I believe so.
Jaundice, I thought it was where you turn yellow because of something else.
It's because of your liver.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
liver
it's
fucks up.
similar.
But yeah.
But I have heard of that, like,
Yes.
just, you know, like,
Is he just going to
is there
turn
a
yellow?
Trump joke in there? Should we be making low fruit?
Ooh. Ooh.
I'm very funny. So, yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah, 100 oranges a week. Maybe he would be quite orange.
I bet he would.
Probably.
His fingers would be from like digging into it.
He'd be so fucking like immune to everything though. Like
Yeah,
cold wise,
exactly.
like so much vitamin C.
No scurvy
But
here.
you pee out vitamin C. Like, you can't have too much of it. If your body has too much, it just, boop, pisses it out.
As with all vitamins.
Yeah, because in Japan, they have, like, drinks that are,
Yes.
like, tonics for after you're hungover. And a lot of them are just basically shitloads of vitamin C. And it just makes you pee, like, fluoro yellow. It's fucking weird.
Gotta go to Japan.
So Langley was so sure of his brother's sight returning that he begins saving newspapers for his brother to catch up on world news after he can see again.
It's very sweet.
It's very sweet. The Great Depression hits around, like, then. I didn't check exactly what it was. I should know the years the Great Depression happened, but at some point...
It's the early 30s, right?
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
Lacey would be like,
Oh,
boom
no,
of the day.
But the Great Depression hit, and it changed Harlem significantly. The neighborhood surrounding the brownstone mansion began to frighten the brothers. The racial demographics shifted, which made them very uncomfortable. Look, yeah. Yeah. I feel
Crotchety
bad
old
for them
dudes.
because they are, like, old dudes, but also
Yeah.
at the same time, like...
Shut the
come
fuck
on,
up.
Langley began to only leave the house when he needed to get food, and only at night time. So, Homer is fucking blind and just stays in the house, and Langley just goes on these little, like, missions at night time to go get food for the two of them.
All 100 oranges home in the dead of night.
Yeah, exactly. And he goes, like, all over the place, and he will only walk. He, like, walks for fucking ages to go and get shit, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah, so it starts to get weird. People notice the looming mansion and begin to congregate outside because, you know, the area is now pretty poor. And there's this big fucking mansion there that some dude only leaves at night. So everyone's curious what's going on inside. Rumours start to circulate that the mansion has extreme riches and luxuries and millions of dollars hidden within the home.
Treasures.
Yeah, it just makes you think of like Indiana Jones stuff. Teens start throwing rocks at the windows, and Langley stopped bothering to have the glass replaced after a while and instead just starts boarding up the windows because it's that bad, and he just doesn't want anyone to bother them.
Wow.
His trips from the house for food devolve into scrounging around trash cans outside grocers and butchers as business begins shutting up for the night rather than... Well, obviously he's going later and later as well as the other thing. Like, where it used to be an evening gamble, it's now very late at night that he feels safe enough to leave the house.
Oh, so he's a freegan now.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yes, he is a freegan. That makes sense. So he begins dragging home bits and bobs from the street to tinker with back home. He creates a number of inventions, including a device for vacuuming inside pianos. He also feeds and bathes his brother, reads in classical literature, plays in piano sonatas, and he even built a crystal radio for his entertainment, because he can't see anymore, so he needs something.
A crystal radio.
I don't know what the fuck that is. I didn't Google it. I should have.
I should know what that is, but I can't articulate what it is. But it is a thing. It's a thing.
A type of radio that
Yes.
doesn't require electricity because it generates... I don't know. I'm just making shit up now. Someone's going to be like, that's fucking dumb.
Incorrect.
Look, because there's no evidence proving otherwise at this moment, I'm going to visualize a radio made of crystal.
Yes. Perfect. Great. It's like a new age witch fucking radio.
Align your chakras while you listen to the hottest 100.
Oh, it sounds like something what's her face from Goop would sell.
Side note, did you hear about the vagina candle?
What?
She's releasing, apparently, a candle that smells like her vagina.
Have
Are
you
you
read the
fucking
reviews?
serious?
No, I haven't read the reviews.
Gwyneth Paltrow has a vagina candle. And what do the reviews say?
Oh, I wish I'd written them down before I came onto this podcast.
Is it
right
dank?
now.
Is it just real dank?
I think one of them is just no.
That's fair. That's all we need to hear.
How much? I'm expecting like a $600 candle. How much?
I have no idea. I didn't go past the headlines. I was like, that's got to be an Onion article, right? But apparently not.
Paltrow, calm the fuck down. You can't just make money off of anything.
she's got Marvel Disney money. How does she just need to do this?
Yeah, that's right. She's Pepper Potts, isn't she? Fuck off, Pepper.
Anyway.
anyway. Sorry. Between his inventions, the debris he brings in from the street, the newspapers Langley saves for Homer, and the remains of their parents' lives, the brownstone is quickly filling up. Rumours about the valuables in the mansion bring on robbery attempts, which prompts Langley to wire the doors shut and basically bail on the outside world altogether. He devised a number of booby traps throughout the house.
Oh my god, yes.
We've gone full Home Alone.
I know! Yes, it is exactly what I thought. Jigsaw and fucking the Home Alone kid. So the house is a maze of tunnel systems, tripwires, and mountains of shit. Like, it's literally just getting up there in how crazy this place is getting. The brothers' distrust of the outside world extend to doctors, and eventually Homer's health declines further. He becomes paralysed due to inflammatory rheumatism, and refuses to seek medical treatment.
So was that like in the legs?
I don't know if it was just his legs. I didn't find anything that said that, but I imagine it probably would be like something in his lower joints just because of what we hear about him later. But yeah, he can't do a lot of shit.
Alright.
So they were apparently really scared that doctors would sever Homer's optic nerve and leave him permanently blind and hasten his death with drugs. So if, you know, trying to fix his eyes and all this sort of shit, they would just basically sever his optic nerve. He'd never be able to see it again, and they're still convinced that he's going to be able to see it again one day. And it obviously means a lot to them. Yeah, it's really sad. Like, this story is really fucking sad. This is what... I started reading it, and I was like, this is wild. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So Langley said to a reporter at one point, you must remember that we're the sons of a doctor. We have a medical library of 15,000 books in the house. We have decided we would not call any doctor. We knew too much about medicine. So, yeah. Exactly. So the early 1930s, like 33 onwards, the house is starting to fall apart, as we can see.
No.
1937, the telephone gets disconnected and is never reconnected. 1938, the gas, water, and electricity are all turned off from unpaid bills. The house is warmed by a kerosene heater at this point. Langley actually made like an invention with a car engine where it would generate electricity for them for a while. So he's fucking very smart.
Very tinkery.
Yeah, exactly. He was an engineer. That's one thing that he learned how to do. He just didn't work in that field. He brought water in with a pump from a park nearby. So, like, he's doing a lot of shit to keep him and his brother alive in this house, just so he doesn't have to fucking deal with anyone from the outside.
The mood, though.
I know, exactly. Like, it's. I think especially looking at this from today's perspective, where mental health is, like, something we look at all the time, and we talk about all the time, and it's finally, like, at the forefront of the mainstream media. Looking at this is so fucking sad. Because, like, people still are like this to this day, and you just don't know about it.
Yeah. Like, what would have happened if there'd been an intervention earlier on? Yeah.
Exactly. What even if, like, you know, he'd never gone blind, Homer had never gone blind, like, maybe this wouldn't happen, maybe it would, or an intervention, or just even, like, I read a book recently called The Trauma Cleaner, which is about you guys got me this book.
Oh.
It's about a woman who cleans up from crime scenes and also, like, helps people with serious hoarder issues, like, and it's very, very interesting to, like, see how people get there, and the fact that they're usually very normal people in every other way. It's really fucking intense and really serious. So, like, having read that and then looking at this case, I was just like, oh, this is just sad.
Yeah.
It just gets worse.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm sorry.
God.
Take us deeper.
So we're at 1942. Langley's interviewed by a reporter during one of his nighttime forays. He's described as a soft-spoken old gentleman with a liking for privacy. He has a low, polite, cultivated voice, and he's not a crazy, angry old man. He's not what we're... And, like, you hear all of this and you think about someone that's, like, angry and hates the world and just doesn't want to deal with anyone and sort of, like, shoots at people to get off his lawn.
Yeah.
He's not. He's just a disheveled old man with a drooping mustache. His clothes are all held together by pins and things like that. He's dressed in clothing from the bygone era that he wishes was still around. He's very uncomfortable with this new world and its changing technology. And he says things like, oh, if I didn't dress in rags, people would come to my house and steal from me and hurt my brother and I, and things like that. Like,
Oh my god,
it's
that's
very-
so sad.
he's very protective of his brother. He wouldn't let anyone see or speak to Homer. He caught a neighbour peeking in through the window and immediately brought the property for $7,500 cash, which at that time, like, is a huge amount of money. I have a couple of like amounts that pop up later and how much it is in today's dollars. For some reason I didn't do it with this one, but whatever. And it's like an insane amount of money just to drop. So it's not like they don't have money. They're not paying bills because they just don't have any money. They're just not paying their bills because they don't want anyone to come anywhere near them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a neighbour peeking from the house next to them.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he just bought the next door house and was like, no one's looking at my fucking house.
Holy shit.
Fucking
Yeah.
hell.
It's commitment, man.
I know. So, 1938 continued. The brothers refused an offer of $125,000, which in today's currency is $2,200,242 fucking dollars. It's a lot of fucking money.
Sounds fake.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like an insane amount of money. And because they refused it, their home actually ended up in the New York Times, like in an article, which brought a lot of fucking publicity to it. And they repeated neighbours' gossips about the brothers living in Orientalist splendour, which fucked the boys over because now people tried really hard to steal their shit because they had this idea that there was, like, treasures within their home. So 1939, they made the news again when gas workers attempt to enter their house and remove 2 gas meters because they're not fucking paying for their gas. The brothers were really hostile and refused access, and this is possibly the last time Homer actually even left the house, like one of the very last times he's even seen. So 1941, a small fire breaks out, and Langley refuses to let firefighters in.
Oh no.
So we can see this, like, descent. 1942, there's an eviction attempt and a cleanup crew sent. Police attempt to force their way in after Langley starts yelling at the workers, and Langley immediately makes a check for $6,700, $104,000 in today's currency, paid off the mortgage in a single payment just to make these people go the fuck away.
Oh my god.
God.
I know. Then, nothing. Until March 21st, 1947.
Oh, big jump.
Yeah. So there's an anonymous call to the police. Basically, the anonymous person is saying that there's a stench at the house.
Here we go.
and They claim it's a
boy.
dead body. Police can't enter. There's too much trash. There's no doorbell. There's no telephone. The doors are locked. The windows are boarded up. The doors are wide shut. Eventually, they break the front door open with an axe. And there's some like wild photos of this happening.
Oh.
See our Instagram for further details.
Exactly. So they had to dig through mountains of belongings. The foyer is literally packed solid with newspapers, like a whole foyer in a fucking mansion. There's a squad of 7 men simply pulling junk out of the home, and they throw it down on the street below, just trying to get in. 5 hours of digging, and Homer Collier's body is discovered. It's surrounded by boxes of newspapers. His hair is matted, it reaches his shoulders. He's dressed in a tattered dressing gown, and his head was resting on his knees.
Oh.
Like forward on his knees.
Like folded forward sort of thing. He died only 10 hours before.
Oh.
No.
Yeah. He died of starvation and heart disease.
Oh, that's
the worst
so
part.
sad.
That's the saddest fucking thing. Police basically believed that Langley had fled and made the call to police regarding Homer's death. But they began to suspect that Langley was dead when he failed to show up to Homer's funeral on April 1st. There were rumours that Langley was seen on a bus to Atlantic City. There was a manhunt along New Jersey shore, which turned up nothing. They searched multiple states, like basically chased down all of these sightings. Meanwhile, police continued searching the house. The contents included, and this is not everything, I just picked the shit that I was like, okay, we'll talk about this because it's fucking wild.
Yeah.
There's an x-ray machine, like an early x-ray machine. There's a baby carriage, there's a car. There's a plaster-built Native American bust. There's the top of a horse-drawn carriage. There are human organs pickling in jars.
Ooh.
There are 8 live cats, hundreds of yards of silk and fabric, 14 pianos, violins, bongos, banjos.
14 pianos.
14, including grand and baby pianos. Like, they're fucking big pianos. I'm not talking
Big
like a
old-
little keyboard you get at Christmas when you're like 17 or some shit. There's accordions, tapestries, 34 bank account passbooks with a total of $3,000 or $40K in today's currency.
Wow.
Portraits, cameras, bicycles, many guns, chandeliers, bowling balls, a child's chair. Neither of them had ever had a baby. Countless newspapers and magazines. Just like rooms of newspapers and magazines.
Oh.
Some of these items are now in museums, but most of it was deemed worthless. Like, with hoarders, a lot of the time, even stuff that actually has value is just not taken care of. It just, how can you take care of anything in your house if it's just crushed under debris and mildewing and, you know, all this sort of shit.
Yeah, getting all mouldy.
Yeah, exactly. So in total, it was 120 tons of debris that was removed from the house.
Fuck.
Tons.
This place was fucking huge. Like, I couldn't figure out how big it was until I was looking at photos because I was like, fucking hell. It takes up like almost a whole like corner of a block in New York City. So 2,000 people gathered to watch all this shit just being taken out of the house. 2 weeks after Homer was discovered, which is April 8th now, Langley Collier's body was discovered. He was less than 10 feet away from his brother, where he'd been found. He was in a 60-centimetre wide tunnel, partially eaten by rats. He died on March 9, suffocated beneath a pile of trash that had been triggered by one of his booby traps.
Oh.
So
Jesus.
sad. Yeah. Police theorised that Langley had been taking food to Homer, and he basically accidentally triggered one of these booby traps. He never left his brother at all.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my god, my heart, no! Oh!
It's so sad. It's so fucking sad. And yeah, that's the story of the Collier brothers. It's very tragic.
Oh, sweet brothers. Fuck.
I'm really sad. I'm sorry. This is like one of the ones that I was like, not old men.
Yeah.
Oh,
Aw.
they're very sweet looking in photos. Like, they look kind of like my idea of like Einstein. He's got a big dripping mustache, some wild hair that's like gone bald on top. They wear very nice suits and just smiling, doing their jobs back before they obviously lost the plot a little bit.
Oh, my heart is breaking. Fuck.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. It's so sad. Like, what happens to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
You're welcome. Well, I'm gonna lift the mood.
Hey.
I know what your
Yes.
topic is, so I don't know if I call it lifting.
Well, we're gonna go just full gross. There's gonna be all emotional detachment here. We're just gonna talk about gross shit. Alrighty, so everyone knows who Ed Gein is by now. Iconic cannibal, grave robbing necrophiliac.
Yeah. His full list of titles, please.
Yes. Just a quick recap for anyone who's out of the loop. Ed Gein murdered 2 women in Plainfield, Wisconsin during the 50s, Mary Hogan and Bernice Warden, earning him the title the Butcher of Plainfield. But he wasn't a serial killer. Only ever confessed to 2 killings. Did he do more? We don't know. He's dead now, so we don't know. Some sites that I did read about did say he may have killed as many as 7, but still 2, nah, whatever. So he also inspired a bunch of your favourite Hollywood horrors. Leatherface, Norman Bates, and Buffalo Bill are the top tier ones. Good old Bill. Puts the lotion on its skin. We love a skincare king.
Yes, exactly.
But
Moisturize your face.
yes. SPF.
I'm sorry. I had to yell at so many people have been like, why don't you wear sunscreen? Live in Australia.
So we're not going to talk about Ed's origins today, though, because this is our collections episode.
Yay.
We're going to talk about his collection.
Tell me what was in his house.
So Eddie didn't just murder. He's also fond of grave robbing, as we said. And he found lots of bits in those graves, lots of wonderful things, bones, skin, bits, all the good stuff.
This always trips me out, like, just because... So, I'm weird, and I mean, I don't know why I keep having to preface with this. You fucking know. I always get really interested in those, like, because there's body farms around the world,
Yes.
and I always love watching, like, documentaries and looking at, like, their websites about, like, how a human corpse falls apart. And I'm like, okay, cool. How recently did these people die? Because it's a small town he's from, yeah. It's not, like, a big place, so there can't be that many fucking people dying.
He did, like, keep an eye on the graves of the cemeteries, and if they were fresh, he would dig up the fresh ones. Yeah, so
I always wondered, I was like, how long is the body still a body to take these bits from? Is he getting down there and going like, fucking damn it, there's only bones left?
Yeah.
Or is he like going like, oh, this isn't the best vagina I could use,
No.
but I guess it'll do.
Guess it'll do. No, like, he was on the hunt for the fresh puss. had to do it to
That was
him.
beautiful. Will remain in my memory forever.
You're welcome. So yeah, he made over like 40 alleged excursions to 3 local cemeteries between the 40s and 50s. When he was caught and charged for the murders of Mary and Bernice, authorities found a horrific collection of DIY projects in his home. Shall we start in the kitchen?
Yes, please.
With
Tell
this
me about the Pinterest.
Yes, the murder Pinterest.
yeah.
We have bowls and ashtrays.
Ashtrays.
Bowl-
Well, it could be.
No. Bowls and ashtrays made from human skulls.
Oh.
Spoons and forks with bone handles. So he's like taken the ends of a fork, snapped it, and like forced it and glued it into like a bone.
You know what? That doesn't sound like too unaesthetically pleasing.
No, it's pretty cool.
There's probably on Etsy someone who's done something similar for like a couple $100.
So one of the articles I was reading had like all these pictures of like furniture made of skin, and I was like, that looks too real, like it to be real. And then as I was scrolling down, because it was like lampshades and chairs, and I was like, oh yeah, and then there was just like one of those like from the early 2000s, like a chair shaped like a hand, and I was like, this ain't real, this is someone's Etsy catalog that they've just put in this article. And it was really funny because it looked like something from The Thing. Like there was like faces stretched over thing. It was very cool. Anyway, so after we have our forks, we find the head of Bernice Warden stuffed into a sack, and her heart was in a plastic bag hung on the door of the stove. A fridge full of organs and offal. And then we're on to the lounge room. We have a lampshade stretched with a human face. Chairs upholstered in human skin and structured with bone. A waste paper basket made of skin. A pair of lips sewn to the drawstring of a curtain. Like a little ring pull.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lips.
Yeah, like lips, like face lips.
Like if you just
We'll get to that later.
Wait.
Cut off the lips.
Yeah,
And
it's
then attach them to a cord, and then that cord pulls your curtains open and close.
it's hard to picture, but then some of these, because all of these artifacts were destroyed, FYI, but they took photos of everything.
Yeah.
There are lots online. It's very delicious. See our Instagram.
I just want to bring up the face lamp.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how a face would make a really good lampshade. There's holes in there.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just have like these spots on your ceiling.
They probably
where it
like
doesn't
sewed
shade.
the mouth and the eyelids shut, right?
I don't know. Maybe I would not, because I'd be like, what can I spotlight? Can I like spotlight the beautiful vagina like belt that's hanging on
Ooh.
my bedpost? Because that would be amazing if I could do
Aesthetics.
that with the eye hole of this face. This sounds really fucking awful. I'm very sorry.
Very feng shui.
I don't need to be so insensitive to the people that died and had their body parts taken by Ed Gein, but it's very interesting
It's
to me.
very interesting. And then we have skulls stuffed with candle wax and wicks, which is kind of cool. And you can also probably buy those on Etsy, just like fake ones. So
Probably.
I am a creep and I have one. It's not supposed to look real. It's very pretty.
it is. It's got a very lovely pink candle in there.
It does, and it's a brain-shaped candle, so when it melts, it like wiggles through the eyes.
Excellent.
That is beautiful.
And then we have... Oh, we take a trip to the bedroom. A collection of clothing sewn from human skin, including a pair of leggings, a dress, and a memory vest fashioned from human breasts.
Memory
always
vest.
gets me.
Titty vest.
Oh, so
You
it's
want to
Yeah.
Some lovely titties occasionally to
Yeah.
wear.
And then we had a belt made of nipples, a necklace of tongues, which looks really metal, a wall hanging made of nipples, fingers, and other accoutrements. And amongst all of this, fun, was a box of vulvas, 4 noses, fingernails, a bunch of female death masks, many of which old mate would wear around the house, along with his titty vest.
Titty vest.
How
I don't know, he just wore them around the house.
Because that's the thing he did. He confessed to it, I
Oh,
guess.
so he told it.
Yeah.
This is what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
So did he ever tell us why he wanted to be so surrounded by dead people bits?
Yeah, so back to his origins, because I've been very interested in Ed Gein since I was probably too young to be. So he had this really weird fascination with his mother, classic Norman Bates, because his mother was super religious from memory,
Yeah,
and
really
just
domineering,
yes,
right?
very domineering, just crazy small town America, nothing to
Fucked
fucking
up.
do, yeah, and I think. Because he was kind of a reject, and I don't think anyone else in his family was really super keen on him, so he kind of relished in the shitty coldness of his mother. He was yes, yes, and then he just kind of started to go very weird. He was he's obsessed with his mom, and then he's oh, dead things, and he was also very crafty. It's so interesting. Seriously, deep dive into it. It's so good. But to quote, he made the suit to become his mother, to literally crawl into her skin.
Oh,
of course he
wild.
fucking did.
Yeah,
I love it.
fun guy.
I really like the idea of Ed Gein and learning about him, but for some reason this is so weird. When you are interested in these sorts of people,
Yes.
you get ones that you're more interested in than others. I know that a lot of people are really into cults and stuff like
Yes.
that. It's your preference for a type of horror movie you like. I didn't really get very interested in Ed Gein, so I was I want to know someone that's truly diabolical. I liked H.H. Holmes because he's fucked up. He made a murder castle to kill people, and no one knows how many people died because of this psycho. And Ed Gein was just a little backwaters hillbilly in my eyes of
Digging in his sandpit for bones, for treasure.
It sounds so bad of
Yeah.
the hierarchy of terrible people. But I don't know why. I never really spent a lot of time looking into Ed Gein, but he's very interesting.
Yeah.
But it was always the collection that made me interested.
Oh,
more
super
than,
much.
him.
Yeah. Because I was a big fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a kid, and
Yes.
I loved Silence of the Lambs is so good, and just chef's kiss.
Yeah, when you hear the words
Collector.
nipple bell, it never leaves you.
It never does it?
Oh, I just remembered, I forgot one, but the image is burned into my retinas. He made a pair of gloves out of skin, and they were very haphazardly stitched with really thick black string around the fingers, and it's just and they're very sallow and crunchy looking, and they look really gross. But
the human skin when it goes dry is
Shrinks,
not a
yeah.
malleable
No.
thing either.
no, I think he probably would have I want to say he tanned everything, but he probably didn't. He just sewed the stinking bits together. Yuck.
Well, he did a better job at making furniture than I ever
Yeah.
have. My IKEA projects have never ended well, and that's with instructions.
Right?
I'm not sure. He didn't jump online and be how
Yeah.
do I do this?
One last bit, as I mentioned earlier, necrophiliac. He claimed to not have had sex with any of the bodies because they, quote, smelled too bad. I don't believe that for a fucking second.
How would his house have
Yeah, if he's living in a house that's upholstered in skin, son be fucking that dead pussy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. It reminds me so much of you'll probably have heard of this. A lot of people have. You know the guy that became obsessed with a girl. I think it was in Mexico or somewhere, and she died, and he like managed to get her body away from her family, and they found out that he turned it into like a creepy doll, but it was still her body that he'd like wired together.
Oh.
And, like he put a paper tube inside her
Oh.
lady bits so he could have marital
Relations.
with her. Yeah, for some reason it just reminds me of that, because I think he tried to be like, oh no, that would never happen. It's like, you put a paper tube in her, what
Yeah.
for?
Right? So like posable, like with what? Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Like
He's
not
like-
cool. Oh,
And I think he tried to get her again multiple times. Like, people like felt bad for him. They were like, oh, he's so in love with her. It's sad that he's without her. But she was like a very young girl.
Yeah.
And like, he just threw a lot of money at her family to be around her and shit. It's very
Ooh.
weird. Very weird. Very interesting story, and I'm very sorry I don't remember who either of the people involved are, but I'm sure if you Google some of those phrases we've just used, you'll find it.
oh wait, for a later episode, we might touch on it.
We'll probably talk about it at some point.
So Ed Gein's collection is like one of the most famous trophy collections in like true crime canon, the extended crime universe, perhaps. But I wanted to touch on some other ones, which are also pretty gross. Just a little quick fire round of like gross shit. So Jeffrey Dahmer would keep the genitals of his victims preserved in acetone and a bunch of other body parts in his freezer.
What the fuck would acetone preserve? I don't know.
Well, we had that when we were talking about the Lucky Rabbit Foot episode.
Oh,
That's used to
yes!
preserve things. Because alcohol. Now, I'm going to butcher this, so prepare. Anatoly Onoprienko, the beast of Ukraine,
Oh.
kept the underwear of all of his victims and claimed to have gifted some of his trophies to his girlfriend. Cute.
Oh, boy.
Can you imagine finding out you've been wearing a dead girl's underwear?
Yeah.
From your boyfriend?
Yeah.
You fucking murdered her?
The underwear she died in.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she died in.
Oh,
hell.
Lauren's eyes just grew to the size of dinner plate. She's just like, fuck.
There's a lot of fucked up places my brain goes.
Right?
Like, don't you void your whole bowels and everything when you die?
That's very true.
Like,
Yeah.
how the fuck did he clean those? I can't even get, like, some of my older teeth
Yeah,
good after,
right?
after a certain time of month. It's
Yeah.
just like, fuck, I gotta throw these out.
Yeah.
How the hell did he bleach them well enough that his girlfriend was like, oh, these are new and I can wear them?
I don't put it past him to have even tried to clean them, to be honest. I'm sorry.
I'm upset.
And then we have Ted Bundy. Would display the severed heads of his victims in his apartment, and he would often wash and style their hair and apply a face of makeup.
Oh, that's very nice.
He's probably better at it than I am.
Yeah. Another one that I'm going to butcher, Alexander Pichushkin, the chessboard killer, wanted to kill enough people to fill a chessboard and would mark off each square after killing his victim. Police found a chessboard with 61 squares, 3 short of a full board.
I've never heard of
I
that
have
guy.
Neither
also
had I.
never heard of that.
I didn't want to go too deep because I'm like, I want to save this for another episode.
Yes.
But like, that's pretty, like, that's some like Hollywood shit.
Yeah.
Like, surely,
It's
right?
like fucking, like, 7.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
it
exactly
really
what I
is,
thought.
yeah.
Yeah, like 7 or the Zodiac or something stupid like that.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. And then finally, just because it's disgusting, it's not really a collection, it's just fucked. Ahmad Siraji would drink the saliva of his victims.
Oh, that grosses me out more than drinking blood. That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, so-
why would you do that?
He claimed that it would give him powers.
Oh
How
my
did
god.
you get so much, like, saliva to drink? Because I'm
Yeah.
imagining that, like, you're not just, like, opening their mouths and trying to suck it off their tongue. Like, how did you get enough to drink?
I don't know. I didn't really want to think about it.
Jesus.
But yeah. And that's my collection segment. Yay, thank you.
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah, I promised to gross out and I fucking delivered.
It was horrible. You're fucking filthy.
Sources, Sick Chirps, Wisconsin Sickness, all that is interesting, and the Bay Wikipedia. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Oh, of course, I forgot my thingies. I'll do them at the end.
I remembered mine for once.
Don't let me forget my references. I'm very bad at this game. I'm sorry.
And that leaves you, La. What have you got for us?
I have a little thing on the island of the dolls, which, if you haven't already guessed, it's an island full of dolls.
Hell yeah.
Fucking shit.
So it's located in Xochimilco, and It
Can you
is
say that again?
Xochimilco.
Well done. I don't know if that's right.
Where's
It just sounds
that?
good. You sound confident.
I do, because I have little sound out things in
Oh,
brackets.
phonetics, yeah.
Yeah.
We just leave it up to chance, don't we?
Yeah, just a guess.
So that is just south of Mexico City. It's got a lot of canals, which is where the island is. And as legend goes, the sole inhabitant of the island, his name is Don Julian Santana Barrera. Fuck.
Well done.
Santa.
Oh, Santa.
Yeah.
He began his collection with a single doll. And this doll was one he found in the same water as the body of a girl in the 1950s. And she was said to have died under mysterious circumstances, although I can't find anything detailing further than it was mysterious. So, let's just
So
go with
it's
that
like,
word.
Maybe he did it, but also maybe not. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, but basically, it's kind of mixed whether he found it or not, but he definitely found that doll, and he definitely strung it up in a tree.
As you do.
As you do.
So he's on exile on this island because basically in the 50s he'd begun to preach about the Bible or something like that, and it didn't go well, and he ended up having to leave his wife and child to be on that island alone for some reason, which I'm assuming was social persecution. But a lot of these sources that I found are very mixed. Like, there's an official website that I went onto, there's a Wikipedia, and then there's that BuzzFeed one I probably shouldn't have gotten from, but here we are.
Here we are.
I remember that BuzzFeed episode. Ah, bless him.
Yeah.
The
Well-
only good content coming out of BuzzFeed.
So, the reason he hung it in a tree, whether it was out of respect or fear, seemed to matter to the little girl, or the ghost of her, because legend says the island is haunted.
Dun, dun,
So
dun.
this is all speculation, of course, because you can't say anything for sure, but it is said she wandered the island demanding her doll. This prompted Julian to hang more dolls in more places around the island to appease her spirit.
This genuinely sounds like a man haunted by the fact that he murdered a little fucking girl.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like someone who's like, oh, this poor girl, I found her doll, I will leave it here with her to make her happy. It sounds like someone that's like, I know what you did.
We cracked the case, guys. We can all go home.
Yes.
Yeah, well, apparently some of the people who were close to him were just like, well, it seems like he's kind of possessed by either the ghost of that girl or some of the demons in the dolls, which is, obviously what you go to when you see that kind of thing. But-
Obviously, not he fucking did it and feels guilty.
Yeah, well, so,
I'm sorry. I totally, just interrupted and was like,
no, this is good. This is good, because I wouldn't have guessed that he murdered the girl. I'm straight up like, yeah, these dolls are haunted.
I just think I do bad things about people. I'm constantly like, you're a fucking psycho. You kill someone. I believe it.
Yeah. So he would find them in the canals around the island or in the garbage, and he would just hang them up, like these dolls, in no matter what condition they're in. So they'd have faded eyes. They'd just be pieces of dolls that he would find. He'd hang them up. They'd have these, dead eyes and stuff, so it definitely looks haunted.
Oh, I don't like dolls.
So that helped with his overall aesthetic, I'm assuming. He would also trade the produce that he grew on the island for dolls. So people would come and bring him dolls, and he'd just be like, yeah, have some of this.
Would you eat food from a haunted doll island?
I would if I only had to trade a doll for it.
Really? I don't know.
I'd eat it.
Maybe. Probably.
Just to say I ate, a haunted carrot.
Yeah.
Fuck me up with these ghost
Would you eat a
turnips.
haunted carrot, or would you do something?
Yes, I'd fucking eat it.
So yeah, they hang from the trees. There's some buildings on the island where they're just, they're on the outside, they're sitting on top. They're glued to the walls.
Cute.
He has one of the buildings, or he had one of the buildings, where it's the home of the original doll and his favorite doll. And his favorite doll has this little seat, and it's got a little arch above it. And it's really cute,
Like a
even though it's
shrine.
really creepy. But it's like he has a favorite doll, and it's not the original doll.
Creepy.
It's
Oh.
not the original
No,
doll.
it's a different one. He had
Aw.
a favorite one.
I don't know how I'd feel as one of the dolls if I knew there was a fucking favourite, eh?
Sounds like a wild sequel to Toy Story. Imagine they're all just
Oh my god, a horror
they all had their own Andes, and then they just kind of got fucked off and to this island and well, I'm nailed to the tree now. All those,
Of all the murdered children
yeah,
searching for their child again.
that little
That
spider
would be a
thing.
sick movie.
Right?
I
That would be.
100%.
It's like that little spider
Little
thing
straight
that
fire?
what's his
I
name?
love the spider thing
Yeah,
Sid had.
Sid. Yes,
Oh,
his
the
toys
shit
were
out of
so
me.
cute. Yeah.
No, his toys are really cute. The pterodactyl with girl legs.
Yes.
The Barbie doll legs.
And the duck with like the really strong muscly arms. They're very sweet.
Anyway,
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Keep going. I'm liking this.
This
Okay.
is how we run this show. I'm very apologetic that this is your introduction to it.
Never apologize for art. So this seemed to do the trick if he was really trying to get the spirits away from him. For 50 years it worked, and allowed his collection to grow massively. So there's like hundreds, maybe even thousands of dolls on that island.
Holy fuck.
And this, went well up until 2001, when he was found dead from a heart attack in the same spot where the girl's body was apparently found all those years ago.
I thought you were going to say mysterious circumstances. I was like, the dolls did it.
I think that it may be mysterious circumstances, because same spot, the girl may be murdered,
True.
came back for some revenge.
But if we have so little info on this fucking girl who died, how do we know it's the same spot?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fishy.
It helps with the tourism, though.
That's true. That's fucking true.
So, people have claimed that the dolls have whispered to them and have been caught moving.
I don't like that.
Yep, even the nephew of Julian, who now owns the island apparently, has claimed the same thing. And along with how he can hear the voice of the girl who drowned sometimes at night, and now that Julian is dead, the clacking of the cane that he used.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
Very distinct sound to canes that clack.
Yeah.
I like
It really
it.
is.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
yeah, some of the navigators from the canal who boat through claim to have the dolls call to them, trying to lure them into the island.
Oh, I'm not into that. Not cool. Yeah. I'm imagining some like, come with us, but really they're just like, hello! We're bored!
That's really
Come
good.
hang out.
That's really good.
Yeah, and there's also spiders everywhere.
Yeah, I
Get
don't like
fucked.
that. That's what
Yeah,
I
that's the
remember
worst
from
part.
the thing. The dolls didn't bother me. It was the fucking hundreds of spiders. I was
Like
like,
living
no.
in the doll heads.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
God.
Oh, interjection. I was washing my face yesterday and I picked up my hand towel and a whitetail the size of my palm fell out of it into the sink. I
Jesus.
screamed.
Your palm.
Yeah, like from finger to like here, like long, like
Oh,
not leg span, just length.
Oh,
And its ass was so
hard.
fat. This is the thickest spider I've ever seen. And I screamed so loud. It was fucked.
Why do we keep having fucking spider stories? The one that was in my ass.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you haven't heard
Oh,
that,
you weren't
don't
here for
understand what I'm
that.
talking about. Very short, but you should have still listened to our episode.
Yeah. Our back catalogue is available on all good podcast apps.
Please, Apple Podcasts, please put us on
Oh,
there.
please. Thank you. Yeah.
I, in my old house in WA where there's fucking huntsmans everywhere, ran out in a towel to grab some fresh underwear off the clothesline, popped them on, felt something a bit weird in there, reached it down into my butt and pulled out what I thought was going to
handful.
be some leaves or some shit. And sitting on my palm was a big ass fucking hairy huntsman. And I screamed and threw it away, and it has haunted me ever since. And
That
I
is-
always look in my undies before I put
Yeah.
them on.
So I'm terrified of towels hanging up in the bathroom now. And like,
your shit,
because
yeah.
I was going to pick up that towel to dry my face, but I was like, I'm going to wipe the mirror first so I can see the smell. And that's when I lifted it and it just went,
Oh!
and it hit the sink with such a thud. I was like, fuck that.
That's what
Oh,
fucked me
God.
up is the weight of it.
Yeah. It had a heavy ass.
Jesus Christ. I sleep with a thing of Raid next to me because I'm so afraid of that shit.
Yeah,
Fair.
every time I sleep at a place that isn't my own house, I get very nervous about the ideas of spiders. Doesn't matter if your house is like perfectly clean and amazing. I'm just like, I know they might be here. I don't like it.
Ill.
Yeah, so that's basically what I've got. I got that stuff from the official website. Apparently, it's just the islandofthedolls.com, so I assume it's the official website, Wikipedia, and that BuzzFeed on something.
Beautiful.
You're all
Thank
so
you very
welcome.
much.
Good job. Yay.
That
Thank
was
you.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I practiced
Stunning.
so hard.
My sources, because I fucking forgot them earlier, as always, are Wikipedia, because who doesn't fucking love Wikipedia?
Oh, yeah.
Amusing Planet, Atlas Obscura, and all that's interesting.
I use that
And
too.
Websites. I love those.
Yeah.
Websites. They're good ones.
Yeah.
They're good ones. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes,
And
thank you,
helping
my
us.
love.
We can't do it on our own because we're very.
We need wrangling.
Yeah, we need someone to wrangle us. We also get very nervous in general just being alive. So
Was I supposed to be wrangling you this whole time?
Apparently. Good job.
wrangling.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank Thanks,
Stunning.
guys. I don't know what else to say. We're supposed to say something at the end. What were we supposed to say?
We plug our socials.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So you can find us at Twitter at Wyrd Sisters Cast, and you can find us on Instagram at Wyrd Sisters Podcast. Stunning.
Tune in
Amazing.
next time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Hi guys, just wanted to wish our dear witch sister Lacey get well soon. If you'd like to leave her a get well message, you can find us at Wyrd Sisters Cast on Twitter and Wyrd Sisters Podcast on Instagram. But don't leave her too many comments because then she will get too strong and devour Laura and I like the stronger twin in the womb. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm going to have to do this again. We'll retake.